Hey, hi guys. Boy, today it's episode 50. 50! That's like a landmark TV event, but we're not on TV. We're coming to you live from around the world, from Toronto, from United Kingdom, from Saint Jerome in Quebec, from the sunny coast of Australia where it's summer, from the beautiful coast of British Columbia, and from Los Angeles where it's a little shiny today. And we're the International Art Alliance. We're working on the Palimpsest project. We're sending artwork from around the world to each other, consecutively working with intention on each of our artworks. Now, today we have I think this is a pretty interesting topic. I think we can dig into this. Why are we motivated to collaborate? We had some motivation to collaborate because we were all alone working in our studios during the pandemic. And yet, here we are, still collaborating, still making art with each other around the world. I mean, this is a very unusual circumstance, an unusual project. We've become friends, which means that we know things about each other.
All of the things.
All of those things. So, without any further ado, maybe when you speak, you can introduce yourself for a second and say, because I just went over all that very quickly. I'm Ross in Los Angeles, and my reason for collaborating is because it's more fun. That's really one of the basic reasons. It's like, why be alone if I can work with other people to do certain kinds of things that I can't do by myself? It's team sport, you might say. Who's next?
Why not? Okay, I'll go. So I'm collaborating because, yeah, one, it's fun, and also because I'm an emerging artist, and I'm surrounding myself by very experienced artists so that I can hopefully learn and just, get better by osmosis. I don't know.
Thank you, Stephanie. Who's next?
I can go.
Okay.
I'm Lara. I'm Italian from UK, the UK now, and this collaboration specifically because inspired me, and I'm learning a lot from all of you, and I'm trying to to grow as an artist. And I think I'm really, really learning a lot. Yes, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes frustration when I'm searching what to add, but it's part of the I don't know how to say the job, part of the job, but the process, part of the process.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Laura.
mostly for it's inspiring me. Yeah.
The inspiration is your motivation too.
The motivation, exactly. The question was motivation. Motivation to start was I don't know if I had motivation at the beginning because it was just for fun. The motivation initially to start something new that I didn't know how it would go. And now I can feel that it's always is becoming more and more important for me, this process. And this probably is the motivation because, it's really important for I think it's really important what we are doing because it's something new, something that is never I don't know never, but probably in this way it hasn't done before. So this is a motivation to be part of a project that it's very particular.
Well, thank you, Laura. Yeah, the importance part of it suggests the purpose. Like it's a very purposeful thing that we're doing.
I think,
Denise, you're really nodding your head to that one. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think we started this as a very purposeful thing, didn't we? Because we had all come from this sort of business focused workshop type thing, And a big part of starting this project was for us to implement a lot of the things we'd learned, but also to amplify each other and each other's businesses by working as a group, as opposed to trying to send out your own stuff. If you do it together as a group, then you amplify each other. And I think that was one of the main reasons for us to initially come up with this project. Now, in addition to that, I think it has grown into something where, on an artistic and personal level, we each one, at least for me personally, I would say I find it very freeing and inspiring. I would concur with Lara there, especially because I get to work on things that are so outside of my own practice as an artist.
Yeah.
And I have the freedom to just go with the painting, as opposed to where you normally sort of stay in your lane a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, expanding our limits.
Oh, Rose, say more about that.
Well, for me, I mean, I didn't necessarily start the project thinking, oh, I'm going to expand my limits, but that's been a result of the process of taking part in the project. For me, the whole collaboration thing comes from really far back in my career, because when I was a very young artist, there was a socio-economic thing happening in Montreal at the time, and people were squatting in houses to find places to live and make art, and then a lot of the artists were coalescing together to protest losing their squats, and as a result, a lot of artists people got together and saved a big warehouse area in the Chute. In Lachine, sorry, and there's like a famous big artist space there now. But when I was really a young artist, the older people involved really influenced me to really understand that making art was a group community thing. It wasn't just, even though we were making art individually in our studios, there were so many issues that we shared as artists, like in the trade of being artists, that we kind of had more power together. So I've always been seeking that kind of environment throughout my career. But I have to say, I didn't expect to get that when we started. I was thinking, like Denise, well, I'm not really sure how to implement all of these tools that we've just been learning about. And I felt a little sort of at sea with the nuts and bolts of it. And I think I was almost like a little bit overwhelmed with all the information. And I was at risk of just saying, oh my gosh, this is just too hard for my brain. Because sometimes growth is challenging and not so comfortable. And we were all putting ourselves in a course to grow on some level. So yeah, I felt at loss and at sea. And I thought, oh, if I have other people to sort of help me, walk me through the parts they're good at, and I can help with the parts I'm good at, then as like this sort of little amoeba growing, we can kind of grow into a new organism. And it's been, for me, definitely expanded my box of skills and tool sets that I was really nervous on camera, and I'm still not really doing individual, like hi to my ideal customer, because I'm not really that comfortable doing that yet. But I must say I'm much more comfortable doing this now. And some of the technical stuff and the support and the accountability have been a massive motivation to continue to collaborate, even if things get sticky or juicy or challenging. Then there's already been the recognition, oh, this is a growth, like what do you call it when you're a parent, an educational moment, right? For us older people, it's an educational experience on a very profound level, like Lara said, very profound.
Well, Rose, not to make you blush or anything, but your natural charm has an awful lot to do with how you're showing up on camera too.
Aw,
Every
thank you,
single time.
Rose.
Plus your great laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh.
Yeah, my manic laugh. Yeah.
Demonic at times, but we love it.
Cheryl, you've got a
Hmm.
particular point of view on everything, and you're like an idea generator, an idea bank, and I'm sure that whatever you have to say, also you teach these amazing classes, and so that seems to maybe not involve collaboration in the way that we're talking about it, but you get to see how artists work together or guard themselves. You've got a very distinct viewpoint. Can you talk about some of the things that you've seen with us and that you see in your own practices?
I often find that students come in and they sit down and they're incredibly nervous of what's going on next to them, and they have incredible amounts of sort of fear. And I think that a lot of artists, we have those feelings of fear and how we're going to be judged. And I suppose all through history, I suppose artists have formed groups. We have the Heidelberg School here in Australia. I know that Pollock did. Andy Warhol almost had his own club where he formed his own group of people. So I suppose there's nothing new, but we've got the best thing, which is called the internet. So it's really nice. And I think for artists, because I often think I have an analog brain, because the way that I process, art is, making a painting is very analog. It's actually how you feel it. And I think that a lot of times for a lot of artists to actually to start to embrace a lot of these new social media or the internet, often it can be daunting. And I suppose as a group like us, we know what we should be doing, but often we don't know what it looks like, or we don't know how to do it. And I think that being in a group like this is really great for that. What does an email, what should it look like? How much, should I really attach videos? Should I attach lots of other things? How's my grammar? How's my spelling? And we do all of that with each other. We're always throwing, how's my website? We do. We have another set of eyes on it, don't we? Which is what you can get from collaborating.
It's nice. And what about you, Ross?
Well, just to speak in terms of process, what we're doing is not the typical art situation. I could totally relate to what Cheryl's saying. I'm sure we all could. When you can sit down with other artists, we're at once feeling like, community, and we all feel pretty comfortable with each other. I mean, there's nobody that I feel more comfortable with than other artists. It's just how it is for me. Like we kind of will speak the same unspoken language. We'll have similar references to things.
It's true.
We can, it's just but not just in language. It's that we're unafraid to multidimensionalize something, to just test something out from not just one point of view, right? But from as many points of view probably as we can fit in. I mean, like I said about Cheryl, it's like, try holding her back. You can't, right? Like you got to write it down fast. So, in that, like, what a thrill. It's like a total thrill, right? And I think that's part of what I get from our working together, the things that I would never have considered to put down on the canvas, the board, the paper, because we all have such different ways of working. And then to see how similar we are once they're down, because it all seems to work out. Now, part of it's because we put our intentions, we write our intentions down in our process of sending them out so that we have documentation to go with what we're doing. And it's just so interesting to read and to look at and to think about, and then to attack or approach or to make it happen with material. And then the other thing about collaboration in terms of like sitting down with other artists that I had mentioned in talking, introducing Cheryl, is this the guardedness. Well, I think that's what Cheryl was saying, right? Like people will sit down and they'll be somewhat guarded, and I think that's got to do with the vulnerability that comes also with being an artist, where
Exposing ourselves.
Souls, yeah. Exposing our souls. Yeah, it's true.
Well, and I think specifically in our case, because we are literally painting on each other's paintings. So there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge amount of vulnerability that comes with that, and a huge amount of insecurity that keeps popping up for each of us.
And a huge amount of trust,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like
yes,
there's
yes.
trust as, it's really that the insecurity for me, yeah, is still there for sure whenever I get one of the paintings. But then sometimes I'm just like, okay, no, what I did is okay. And, Denise or Lara or Cheryl or Rose or Ross will put something on top of this or, over here or something. Oh, okay, it's okay. Hopefully
Yeah.
they're okay with it. I'll just trust that this is okay.
Yeah. It's
there's
very
good
interesting
feeling.
because it is about the alchemy of the connections, I believe, because we could have ended up with a group of people where we sent these paintings around and all of the paintings had one ego put their stamp so strongly on it that all the paintings ended up looking the same.
True.
I have taken part in things, not necessarily this exact kind of project, but doing things collaboratively in a group where one person's personality or style is imposed on everyone. And we just didn't end up with that chemistry. We ended up with a different kind of chemistry.
And I think that's for a lot of people, you're picking exactly at why there are so many people who are so hesitant stepping into a collaboration, especially artists. On the one side, it is having that overbearing person that'll take over, and then on the other hand, there's the fear of being the only one in the group who has to do all the work, and everybody else just sort of sliding it.
Which we've ironed out now, though, right, Denise?
Sorry?
We've ironed that out now, right? I said we've ironed all of that out now, right? Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're still the organizer. You're still, But no, really.
But
I mean,
it's
can attest to that
a
inherent
legit
danger.
thing
Denise
that
was-
comes up for people. It's
Yes,
not,
it
it's
is.
probably
It's
not
very
something
common.
that is spoken out loud very often, but I'm pretty sure that it's in the back of everybody's mind when they start or think about doing a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes,
See,
it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because even just in workplace environments, we've all experienced where the load seems to not quite be so evenly distributed, but yet we're all supposedly earning a similar, like, how does that work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then people in the workplace often start to get resentful and want to move on. Because when you see that kind of inequity happening, where like some person always gets the accolades for group efforts or whatever, it's a huge issue. And I think that the way we've been able to sort of negotiate and navigate some of the things that have come up, those kind of things, has been very enriching, certainly for me. It's been very enriching because it doesn't just enrich the relationship, but it makes me step out of my box and grow. And I love that.
I think that's just more down to just the random luck of our personalities.
I think so.
Because I actually think that in many job sort of situations, unlike ours, people are interviewed and they're actually chosen for a specific job because of their personality style. Whereas we weren't interviewed. We were just a random.
We self-selected.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we were random. We didn't really interview for a particular position, if that makes sense, in a job sort of a sense.
Yeah. But that's why I used the term chemistry, because I think it is a bit of chemistry that's alchemy, that just kind of like each of us has a certain personal integrity where we haven't wanted to walk all over the other person's, and not just not walk all over, but we've all so been open-hearted in receiving what we've been receiving.
Oh, that's
where
a wonderful point, Rose.
Appreciate it, like we really appreciate receiving these little beautiful pieces of each other, and it's been quite clear that we don't really want to trod upon. We we're trying not to tread upon. We're really wanting to pull the best out of each other with each layer, because it's such a delight to see
But then I
what we're
thought, then I thought
doing.
just to the opposite.
But we all loved what you did. We're all
Oh.
going, wow, we love it.
And I thought,
Well-
oh no, this is not going to go down well. Oh, to hell with it.
Oh, to hell with it. Well, that's one of the important things that we have to always consider. We're not going into this with a critique in mind. We're going into each piece to see how this piece can be live its own life, that it can have the vitality of each of us in it. And at times we've had some kind of well, maybe you could have handled that a little differently. But even then, it's been a completely different color and value than what I've certainly seen in art school or in art classes. But let's see this in action, because Rose, you have a piece to unveil today. Is that so?
Good segue, Ross.
This piece we've been waiting for so long. Okay.
And this is
Somebody
deserves
has
a
to
drum
do a drum
roll,
roll.
because this is
Yeah.
the final piece.
what's it called?
of
Layer
our,
what? Is this layer F?
Yeah, this is the final
is
layer.
Painting
of
F,
the
I
final
think.
piece
Painting
of
F.
our
Is it?
test
Yes,
pieces.
it's F for finally finished.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I hope. I don't know. All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you put in there?
Oh, look
Wow.
at that.
What's the green stuff?
How cool.
Oh, I
Wow.
love
That is cool. What is
that.
it? Sorry, what is it?
Yeah,
It's a little. It's a.
sprout.
Like a sprout or a vine growing
Oh,
around.
It's a sprout.
Sprout.
Yeah,
wow.
perfect.
That's, I wouldn't have, I would
Yeah.
never have thought of that. That's amazing.
That's
Yeah,
It's a
beautiful.
sprout.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
look at this.
Yeah.
It's really monumental in its
Live.
scope. Yeah, it's really out
It's
there.
out
Also,
there.
I outlined the red fingerprint whorls with white
Yes.
See that?
to make it sort of sit on top a little bit more, and
Mm.
to echo the white stars.
Mm.
It's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
the fingerprint is made of the material of the stars.
That's so
Ah.
cool. It
Whoa,
makes it
God.
almost surrealistic.
That's
I find.
beautiful.
That
Because,
is
like,
nice.
Stephanie?
We're all made of
Stephanie, how do you think?
stardust, right?
So,
Yeah.
sorry? So,
What do you think, Stephanie?
Stephanie.
I think it's totally cool. And yeah, no, I think it's totally cool. I love the fingerprint. I love that you're echoing the color of the stars in the coil of the fingerprint. I love how the vine is wrapping around the paintbrush. It's almost like it's just I don't know. It's really
spiraling
cool.
through the universe.
Yeah. Yeah,
What I
yeah.
find super
Yeah,
interesting,
it's very
Steph, is
cool.
that you were so nervous about this piece in the beginning.
I was.
Yeah,
Mm.
at the beginning, yeah.
Well, because I didn't feel like I left people very much room to do anything, right? And yet you all came up with amazingly creative ideas to paint on top of it. So it's
I actually think that's probably a better way of going, is actually to really to have limitations. I actually think that
Yeah, because
I
it's
think
kind
that
of
these little
fun.
paintings that had really, that were really so-called limited, I think that they've turned out
you know what?
the
Because
best
it gives
because
us
of
it gives us
limitations.
exactly.
It gives us a
exactly.
direction.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
does.
And boundaries
Between-
within the painting, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
creative
and with the
boundaries.
intention. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
literally, like, the hand is like the center of the cosmos, right? And its togetherness.
Yeah.
And so we're
And
just
the little
growing from
hand is
that.
so sweet.
You know, because transformation, because it's about transformation, and you were saying hands are transformative.
Yes.
Well, what is the ultimate transformative experience that we have access to in life is growth.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
True.
yeah.
See, I was thinking painting.
Wow, very, very good.
I was looking at the paintbrush thinking, yeah, it's going to be
Oh, it's
painting.
painting. No, that's
Yeah,
great.
but it's
Very
the
well said,
creativity.
Rose.
It's the creativity that we have to cling to grow, right? We have to
Yeah.
hold on to our creativity. In this case, it's our shared creativity,
Goosebumps.
because you put the one hand in
Smart.
the other there,
Good.
Cheryl, and it's shared
Yeah.
creativity.
Oh,
It's
wow. Can you remember that for like ever?
Oh, we have to finish now.
That's
on
where
that
we
note.
are.
Well, there's a record
So
of it now.
once again, people, this little painting needs a title. Except,
Yes.
I mean, we have it as F.
Yeah.
F for the
Let's not call it
finally
F.
finished product.
That's right.
And I guess at some point we're going to have a video that's going to show its complete evolution, so
Evolution,
we can
yes.
really see how it's flowed through time and space, just like the picture itself.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a really extraordinary
Yeah,
thing.
after going through
Wow.
all our
Thanks,
different
Stephanie.
hands.
Wow.
Thank you. Oh.
I know when I first got it, I was terrified. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a hand, and then there was another hand, and it's like all these hands, and hands are so hard to draw. It's
Hands
like,
are
oh
hard.
no. And you could,
That's
like,
why I
really-
wanted to do a hand, because I was kind of challenging myself at the same time. Like, if I can paint my hand.
Well, you see, you challenged all of us, and we
Yeah.
all rose to the challenge. So
Sure did.
you know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what good friends do for each other, right?
Yes.
and how this piece also has a narrative quality to it. I think a lot of our pieces have a narrative quality to it. You know,
Mhm.
there's
Mm.
maybe it's kind of a story arc even in our
The
layers.
story of its development.
The story of its development. Yeah, like actually a story. Yeah. I guess we have a couple minutes left. I just want to go and look behind you all, because Laura, you've got something new behind you. Usually your wall is white behind you, but what do you have
Now,
behind you?
usually is a
It's a big painting.
yeah,
usually.
another part. Yeah, this is
Big portrait.
a old painting. It's very
Oh,
old.
wow.
Very old. Well, I made when I was in Barcelona. I made a series of this kind of landscape, a little bit fairy tale
Fairy
landscape.
tale landscapes. How cool. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Nice.
That's beautiful. And Cheryl, you've got a show coming up. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a show the 30th of January until the 8th of February. Opening night, opening drinks, champagne is on the
Opening
Friday
drink.
the 3rd.
Friday the 3rd. Oh boy.
Mark that important date.
Yeah. Book your tickets now.
I'll try to
I'm
make it,
also-
Cheryl. But
I'm also writing a book that's on my website. If you want to go to my website and click the free gift button, and there's a chapter there, which is a lot about what we talk about here, about creativity and how we think or don't think, or try not to think in my case, and not think too much.
What's your working
Great.
title of the book?
It was exploring the world as an artist, but I've thought of another word which wasn't as finding. That's right, finding yourself as an artist, a beginner's guide.
Wow, that's a great title.
Oh, that's a good one,
Finding
because
yourself.
because emerging artists especially are looking to write that artist statement, Cheryl. So finding yourself as an artist, I think, is a great title
Yeah.
just in terms of marketing.
Yeah, so I talk about a lot of what's going on in your head. So it's inspiration, and I've worked out what motivation and inspiration really are. It's actually locking the door and having alone time.
Wow.
You can't get anything done
Yeah.
if you're
True.
busy or if you're talking. I've
True.
almost worked out it's actually like you've got to set aside that time, lock the door, lock the world out. You can invite them back in later, but I mean, you have to have quiet time. I mean,
I
Yeah.
so there
100%
you go.
agree on that one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hard yes from all of us. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of where we're coming from. It's how our compassion sort of comes out of us, that we hear, like, finding yourself as an artist. It's like we all kind of get that, you know, and it's like
Yeah.
we all want to like get into that. We all want to like read that. It's like, because we know what it's like, and we also want to get more tips because we love to grow. And I think this is one way that we expand our compassion in the world. We're sending these paintings around the world to each other, and having something really fruitful come out of this collaboration. And that's been our topic today, is about collaboration. Come back next time with the Palimpsest 6. That's not what we're called. We're called the International Art Alliance. And come and join us again next week, where we're going to be talking about something equally as wonderful, maybe even collaboration or motivation or inspiration or ideas. So come back and join us. Title the painting. Tell us what you're seeing, what you're hearing. If you think this is good or not good or whatever, we'd love to hear from you. Come back and join us. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.